Hey, Cassandra. Ooh. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, oh, oh. You know, I'm tired. Let's see why it looks different. It looks kind of grainy. Do it look clear to you? Oh my goodness. You should be tired. Yeah. Yes, I am tired. I am tired. I don't know. I really don't know why. Hey, Vibrant, how you doing? See, look at you. You caught me now. I am tired. I don't know what possessed me to want to read, but every time that I do, usually somebody come back and tell me uh, that it helped them, or that somebody they know. You know, I go, Cassandra. When I used to read it, people would drop in and say somebody they know um, just got diagnosed with ovarian cancer, or they are having symptoms. So uh, it may be what this is. I don't know, because I am tired, and I had no intention of coming on here, and especially time I reading. I took a shower. I would have crawled up in bed, and that would have been. I've been watching horror movies. Let me give Tim Blaine a little advertisement. Um, yeah, I got your book, Tim. I got your book, and I also have it on my Kindle. But if y'all haven't got Tim Blaine's book, go get Tim Blaine's book. Um, I can't lie and say that I've read it yet because I haven't got around to reading it. But go get it anyway because probably good. Um, no doubt, it's probably a good book. I'm reading Tim's book now. So, okay, see, I think I got the first maybe 4 pages, but when I read at night, it makes me sleepy and I end up falling asleep. So I have to take the time out in daylight and try and read this book. So as I said, if you haven't went out and got Tim's book, go ahead, get Tim's book and read it. Y'all may have to tell me what it's about because I've had this probably a month, and I've made it through 4 pages and fell asleep every time I try and read because I have to start over. After that long, I don't remember what's on. Am I frozen? Oh, on the first 4 pages. So I always have to start over from the beginning. So yeah, go get his book. Give him those little coins. I paid for the Kindle, and then I think that book. Cassandra, how much you pay for your book? I forgot what I paid for that book. Was it like $12, $12.50, or $13? Somewhere around there. Yeah, and it's a pretty good, thick little book. Y'all probably could read this in one day. Most people or one night, but I just can't. I go to sleep when I try to read. So, yeah. All right. Hello, hello. See, Cassandra. Hello, my moderator. Barbara Love. Hello. How you doing? Glad to see you. Mickey. Glad to see you. As always, I miss you. We all miss you, but I know where you at. And yeah. So for the people, let me see if Love Blake. Let me see if Love. Let me text Love Blake right quick. Even though Love Blake has been around, she was around when. How you doing? RNTV, how you doing? Glad to see you. Thank you for coming. For all of my squad here that they have already been around the last time I did the reading for the ovarian cancer. This book is hold on 1 minute. Okay. These books, they're called Torch. This one is the first book, and it is Torch stands for Tales of Remarkable Courage and Hope. And at the bottom you see it says by ovarian cancer survivors. So for anybody that is new that's in the chat or have not have not heard any of these stories, this is the second book. This first one, that's the second one. The second one is called Still Burning Brightly. And I usually will read some of the stories. These stories is about ovarian cancer survivors and their story on their life before being diagnosed with ovarian cancer and during and after. And some of them have passed away. So there would be no ending for their stories. The first story that I'm going to read. Oh yeah, excuse me. I keep doing this because my back hurts me. All that walking and exercising. So the first story that I'm going to read, and my people that's been here the last time that I read them, this one is called, Hey Miss Philadelphia, how you doing? Thanks for coming by. This story is called Living the American Dream. Miss Philadelphia, the books that I'm reading out of, I don't know if you was around last time, a couple of years ago, I think I read these. These books are called Torch. Hey, Lovely. And the first story of Miss Philadelphia, these stories in here is stories of ovarian cancer survivors. Let's see, I guess before how am I going to do this? I think what I'll do is give y'all the ovarian cancer symptoms. This is some of the symptoms that all the ladies in these books have got together. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Philadelphia. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wait a minute. All right. Um, hey, Benj. Thank you. How you doing? Glad to see you. Yeah, the ovarian cancer symptoms. Some of them, all the ladies in these book, and I think it's like 20 uh, women in each book. They got together and put all of the symptoms that they had um, together. They had to write their own stories, and they put these stories together, and someone published the books for them. Um, so here goes some of the symptoms. If anybody come in and I don't see them, Love Lake, Cassandra, any of the mods, please, welcome as y'all always do, because I won't be looking at the book, at the screen. I'll be reading. Some of the symptoms are, this is timely. Yeah. All right, bitch. You know, I'm tired because I've been, as y'all know, I walk 10 miles a day. Um, and then I came home and started to wash on my car. But I don't know what possessed me to want to pull my books out and say it's time to read some of these stories. But like the last time, there was 2 or 3 or 4 doctors don't listen. You're right about that. Absolutely right. Thank you, Mickey. Appreciate it. But yeah, they definitely don't listen to the women. They didn't listen. They don't listen. So you have to have some knowledge yourself on your symptoms, or if not, if you don't keep at them, you'll end up like a lot of these women in this book. They're, they have passed on. One of the women stories in this book is my wife that passed away. She had ovarian cancer. She was diagnosed in 2007. So I'm going to give y'all some of the symptoms: bloating, swollen tummy pain, backache, irregular cycle, fatigue, feeling of fullness when eating, tuberculosis. Now, I pronounced it tuberculosis, but someone in the medical field can tell me. I think I'm pronouncing it incorrect. So if I'm pronouncing it incorrect, just pardon me. Hey there, CCNTB, how you doing? Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it. The next symptom is painful intercourse, constipation or diarrhea, indigestion, increased urination, some lung issues, shortness of breath, chest pains because of the fluid around your lungs, and pelvic pain. So that's about 14 symptoms that these different women had. And to find out if you have any of these symptoms or all of these symptoms, you can sorry, these notifications keep popping up on my screen. Okay, you can go to your doctor and ask for, because they will not volunteer the test. So if you have any of these symptoms or a lot of these symptoms, I'm not saying to be paranoid, but I'm saying to be safe and to live. Okay, you want to go to your doctor and let them know that you are having some of these symptoms, all of these, and you need the blood test. there's a blood test that you can take, and it's called the CA-125. Again, CA-125. That's the blood test for ovarian cancer. See here. What we got here? The CA-125 ovarian cancer. It's a protein marker. Okay. And then there's another test, but it's not for, hey, Easy Money. Glad to see you. Thanks for coming. The CA-125 is the test for ovarian cancer. And then there's a test for breast cancer that's called the BRCA1 and BRCA2. So BRCA1 and BRCA2 is breast cancer. Okay. Yeah, CA-125 for ovarian cancer. Sometimes, hey, Bobby, how you doing? Glad to see you. A lot of times, as you can, when I read some of the stories, you'll see that some of these women had to basically force their doctors to give them the test. Okay. And if you have, not all the time, but it's likely that if you have ovarian cancer, you may also have breast cancer, vice versa. If you have breast cancer, you may also have ovarian cancer. Okay, I can't say too much on ovarian cancer, but I have some blood test stories. Okay, Easy Money. Okay, so yeah, the CA-125 for ovarian cancer. Thank you, CCNTV. I appreciate for sharing my video. And anybody else that have a page, if you would share. I don't usually ask people to share my my videos, but for this is not roasting and gagging and dragging and cussing. This is something that will save some woman's life. Test is less than $100. Yeah. And if you have, if you have insurance or TRICARE or something like that, you probably won't have to pay that much or anything at all. So CA-125 for ovarian cancer and for breast cancer is BRCA1. That's for breast cancer, and BRCA2 is a gene. I prefer this content better. Yeah. Okay. And the test that you can take, ultrasound. Usually, oh, did you pass from cancer? Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, CCN TV. Yeah, really sorry to hear that. Cancer is no joke. It's ugly and it's mean. They'll give you either ultrasound, a CT scan, a sonogram, or a PET scan, and also transvaginal ultrasound or your pelvic exam plus CA-125 plus your transvaginal ultrasound. Though these are the tests, because it usually, I think at this time when my wife died, it was ovarian cancer was like a 3% that you'll make it rate. Once by the time you get diagnosed with ovarian cancer, it's usually most of the time it's in stage 4. That's if you don't know symptoms, any of these symptoms, because you think, okay, my stomach is just hurting, it's paining, because that's what my wife did. she kept saying she had her stomach was paining, and then after a while, her stomach started to expand, and it was like, what the heck? Then she started having real bad pain, and her stomach was bloated like heck. I mean, it looked like she was carrying a child. By the time she went to her doctor, and her doctor was out of town, so she had to see another doctor, and this doctor was told her she had acid reflux, indigestion. That's one of the things they always mistaken it for is indigestion and acid reflux, something like that. So they gave her that purple pill, the one for I think indigestion or acid reflux, and she she took it. It wasn't helping. Her stomach was getting bigger, and she looked like she was pregnant. So by the time that her real doctor came back from vacation, and she went in and told her doctor some of the symptoms that she was having, her doctor knew right off. I have had 2 aunts to pass from ovarian cancer, so I'm checked off of PET scan and ultrasound, right? Especially if you've had um, anybody in your family that have that passed away from ovarian cancer or have ovarian cancer, yes, you need to get checked because it may be hereditary and it'll be passed on. So when she went in and her doctor looked at her stomach and she told her what was happening, she knew right off. She said, "I have a, I think I know what's wrong with you." And she wouldn't tell her, but she sent her to get an ultrasound. And once the test came back and she had them, and she called us in, and she told them, it shows that you have ovarian cancer. Um, and that was shock. We were shocked, in shock for a while because her being, healthy, strong, um, just always going to the doctor, always getting checked, and me never wanting to go to the doctor. Um, and it, had to be her. So, yeah. So, here's some of the treatments that for ovarian cancer, which most people probably know. Um, Chemo, radiation, or trial drug program. Those are three of the treatments that most people, most women take. Um, Either or both, or all three of them. Uh, because B, she took chemo in the trial drug. She didn't do radiation, I don't think. And I just got a few notes here that says 14,000 women die every year of ovarian cancer. Let's see, easy money. They drew 2 pints of blood from me each week for 5 weeks. Somehow I have too much blood. Must be white privilege. True story though. Oh wow, really? Easy money? Wow. And you are you funny, easy money? Okay, and the next note that I have is said grade three. Grade three is angry looking cells under the microscope, ab- abnormal. Okay, so it's a grade three. I don't know, they angry looking cells. Okay, stage four is when cancer has attached to the liver outside your stomach. That's stage four. 63% of women will die. So 5 year survival rate, 30%, 30%. Every 35 minutes, a woman dies from ovarian cancer. There's no early detection. Or I won't say it's no early detection, because if you know some of the symptoms, you can get, you can get to to your doctor and insist on them giving you the CA-125. That CA-125 will tell you if you have ovarian cancer or not. Let's see. These are some of my notes that I had. Either too much iron and too many red blood cells. Oh, okay. Right. It felt like I was going to the leeches. You heard of that? Me either. Okay. So please, 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 if you have any of these symptoms, all of these symptoms, go to your doctor. Don't wait, because from the time that B knew, she would start having the pain in her stomach, and she got to see her regular doctor. And by the time she was sent to a oncology doctor, by that time she was stage 4. Just that quick. So don't, please don't play around. I know it's scary, but please go to the doctor. Vasculitis was something like that. Oh, you're talking about tuberculosis? And I'm probably, like I said, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, because I could sort of remember the last time I was reading these stories, and I pronounced it tuberculosis. There was somebody in the medical field let me know I was pronouncing it wrong. So forgive me. I can't remember how they pronounced it, but y'all may get it. Okay, here goes the first story I'm going to read. Is out of the second book. And the story that I'm reading, it's Living the American Dream. I usually read this story first because this is my wife's story that she wrote before she passed away. They told her she had they told her she had 6 to 9 months to live by the time she was diagnosed. They want you to see an oncologist. Easy money. Or you better go see that doctor then. We call it polycythemia, something like that. Oh, okay. Well, easy money. Yeah. So from the time that she was diagnosed, she was tuberculosis. Oh, tuberculosis. Oh, okay. By the time that she was diagnosed, she was stage 4. They told her she had 6 to 9 months to live, but she lived 7 years. Yeah, she lived 7 years. So here goes her story. Today is my 52nd birthday, a day I really didn't think I'd live to see. You see, I was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer and offered no hope of surviving beyond 3 months after the initial diagnosis. That was 2 years ago. Like many liberated women of my era, I was living the American dream. Free, Black, successful, and very aware of how many deaths were related to the various types of cancer. My journey began in April 2007, the day of my diagnosis. Many symptoms began months prior to my 50th birthday. I undeniably had a textbook case of ovarian cancer. I was gaseous, immediately felt full after meals, suffered loss of appetite, developed abnormal menstrual cycles, and finally developed abdominal swelling and bloating. I was treated for everything from acid reflux to parasites, and was even told that I was pregnant before undergoing a simple blood test that could have saved my life. By my 50th birthday, I had gone misdiagnosed for 6 months prior to my medical examination, an examination that would not have taken place if I had not refused to leave the doctor's office until he figured out what was wrong with me. Only then was I scheduled for a colonoscopy, and the thought of cancer arose. I underwent the colonoscopy, which found several nodes that were deemed non-cancerous in nature. However, my symptoms continued and grew even worse. As luck would have it, I returned to the clinic for a further treatment when a female physician, one I often saw, but who had been out on vacation and just returning, took one look at me and my bloated stomach and immediately asked when I had had a mammogram. I replied, "You know that I have a scheduled medical exam annually, so what's the deal?" Uh, she's got a sense of humor sometimes. Okay. She said, with that look in her eyes, she immediately ordered blood work and scheduled an ultrasound and a CT scan for the following morning. Morning came soon enough, and I was off to the imaging facility, not knowing what to expect. The staff was courteous, and all went well until I lay on the small exam table and the ultrasound began. My background is in the field of technology, so I was familiar with the images projected by the ultrasound. I could see the large mass, and it wasn't good. My heart sank. At some point, I choked down a bottle of barium and proceeded on to the CT scan. All I could visualize was the size of the mass located in my stomach. Within 24 hours, I was referred to Baylor University Medical Center and Dr. Carolyn Matthews. By now, I was mad as hell and wondering why a correct diagnosis had not been made sooner. I'm sure that was over. Okay. Especially since I showed all of the known symptoms of the disease. Sadly, I had no idea just how bad it was to be. I knew that I had to tell my family and those closest to me. What? As my partner, Decop, and I entered the Baylor Salmons Cancer Center, the sound of the revolving doors rotated behind us seemed endless. The sight of so many cancer patients, young and old, stiffened me, and the smell of chemotherapy was gagging. We made our way to the second floor, where I was to meet Dr. Matthews for the first time. My only thought was that I really hoped she had her act together. My sister and Decop were seated in the outer reception area as I proceeded back into a small confined room, housing what seemed to be a very large table. Facing me was a plastic sculpture of the female reproductive organs that indicated the various stages of ovarian cancer. Within 10 to 15 minutes, a young nurse introduced herself to me, provided me with numerous documents to complete, and asked me if I had any questions. My answer was yes. What exactly is wrong with me? Up until this point, no one, including my physician, had said the word cancer. Doctors that wait too late to accurately diagnose. Really? Wow. She looked at me as if I was crazy. And I looked back at her just as stupid as I could and asked, "Well?" Bless her heart, she looked deeply into my eyes, took my hand, and said, "Darling, the doctor will see you. The doctor will be with you shortly." Time seemed to stand still as I sat there staring at that picture, at that plastic sculpture. Finally, Dr. Matthews came in and introduced herself to me. Her voice was soft and soothing, and I immediately felt at ease. Our conversation, our conversation progressed, and the question. I again asked the question, "What's wrong with me?" She looked puzzled and said, "The test results indicate a large mass on your right ovary and quite possibly ovarian cancer." I was stunned. I didn't hear another thing she had to say. At some point, I was scheduled for a biopsy. As I made my way out of the patient area and back to the waiting room, I could see Decop listening to her iPod. I tapped her on her shoulder and simply said, "Let's go." She asked what the doctor had said, and my reply was that we'll talk about it. Go. Now, she asked what the doctor said, and my reply was that we'll talk about it when we got home. I asked her if she was hungry. 1 minute. He left the door. Kaden, you better not leave this door open again. Hard-headed sucker. Okay. Let's see. Okay. She asked what the doctor had said, and my reply was that we'll talk about it when we got home. I asked her if she was hungry. I decided we'll go to our favorite restaurant for Mexican food and a multitude of Long Island iced teas. All the while, I was contemplating just how I would tell everyone what was going on. Okay, and this is titled "Telling my family and friends." Once home, I sat I sat and told Decop what the deal was. Cancer. Decop, a little shorty who's cute as a button and the type of person who internalizes everything, was now staring at me in total dismay and asked, "What do you mean, cancer?" My only reply to her was, "Yep." We sat down on the couch and just shook our heads. I've been shot at, mugged, knifed, ran over, struck by lightning, and survived an airplane crash and 2 tours in Kuwait during Operation Desert Storm. And now this. What the hell? Now, now it was time to tell the family. I began calling my youngest sister. Now, her sister is smooth, sophisticated type. She said, I knew I would have a lot of explaining to do when it came to her. So I just wanted to get this over with. Sure enough, she began with, what type of cancer? What are they going to do? Chemo, radiation, what? There's one good thing about having a younger sister. You know that she's going to have everyone's phone number on speed dial. By the, by the next afternoon, the posse was rolling in from Houston, San Antonio. I could barely get the door open as they burst in and began asking, what are you going to do? Is your will in order? What about power of attorney? What about a simple hello? Yeah, she's got a smart mouth too. Um, these people are a trick. I was still trying to wrap my head around what was going on with me. So the commotion was too much to handle. As I stood there stunned, my older sister decided that I wasn't of sound mind and they should handle everything for me. I immediately let them know that my mental state was just fine. Everyone had instantly become an authority on cancer as well as my life. This was becoming a very stressful situation in a very short time. By day three, I had enough of them, and they realized it. Offended and unable to understand that I had to come to terms with what was going on, they packed up and departed, all except for her younger sister, who planned to stay for the biopsy scheduled for later that week. In private, her sister asked her why I didn't want my family around. I had to explain to her in great detail that it wasn't that I didn't want them there, but that I needed time for all of this to soak in. Furthermore, I was I was and still am very independent person and used to handling things my way. She looked at me and said, well, you're not alone in this. We prayed and asked for strength and healing. Tuesday arrived right on time, and the three of us zigged off to Baylor. Her youngest sister drove with that Houston type of engines. D-Cop rode shotgun, and I hung on for dear life in the back seat of the GMC. Our arrival and check-in went well. I dressed I dressed in that nasty little gown and awaited transport. I was so hungry. I was rolled up and down hallways only to be parked in line with other unfortunate patients. After about 15 minutes, it was my turn. What did I expect? Here I was on the table being prepped with this guy sticking needles into my stomach to numb the area. Well, I have to tell you, they didn't use enough of that numbing stuff because I came right off that table when they began to stroke up and down with that sample collector. My eyes were nailed to the ceiling, and I was visibly going into shock. I was ice cold with sweat pouring off my body. I recall being restrained as they drew the last samples. The doctor attempted to explain what was to happen next. However, I really didn't care. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. When returned to my room, my sister and Decop had gone out in search of food since none of us had eaten. Alone, my thoughts were of how lonely and sad this place was. Hours Hours passed before I was informed of the results of the biopsy, which indicated malignant cells. Well, all just dropped our head. We all just dropped our heads. At some point, a CT scan was conducted, and I was scheduled to meet Dr. Matthews. Dr. Matthews. My stomach was swollen, and I had dropped approximately 80 pounds within the past 6 months. I entered the exam room where the sound of Yanni offered a smooth, damn, smooth music. Okay. And my doctor drank herbal tea. This meeting was Dr. Matthews. This meeting with Dr. Matthews was more informative, and we discussed a plan of action. I was in stage 4, meaning the cancer had spread to other organs. Turn this down. It had spread it to other organs. Find my space. I done lost my space here. Okay. I was to immediately begin chemotherapy and no radiation. The tumor was massive with a CA-125 off the scale. I then asked about the life expectancy of an individual in stage 4. Her response was that normally ovarian cancer, if caught in the early stages, has an average lifespan of about 5 to 7 years. Since my cancer was so advanced and aggressive, the odds of 5 years were slim. And in reality, it would be best to take life day to day. I staggered out of the waiting room and discussed the conversation with my sister and Decop. By then, they both knew not to ask me too many questions. My thought pattern was only to grasp the information given to me at hand and keep it simple. I had absolutely no intention of dying before getting that first Social Security check at the age of 65. My sister remained with me for another week before returning to Houston. Decop remains to be my guardian. Chemotherapy. I have never been able to tolerate needles, and now I was in living hell with 6 hours of chemotherapy and blood tests every week. This went on from April to June, and the chemo wasn't working. We tried another drug. Now, every Monday, it was blood work and chemo. Hey, Davin, this one not working either. By now, I looked like a 5'7" naked chicken. My stomach was hyperextended and filled with fluid to the size of a pregnant woman carrying triplets. And my hips looked like 2 pieces only flapping in the wind. My teeth appeared to be larger than my head. I slept most of the day and prayed for the remainder. I suffered severe constipation in the beginning and finally was able to experience relief only after taking every known laxative. Hey, Nadia, glad to see you. My God, this is insane. One day, as I stood in the shower, unable to see my feet because of my swollen belly, I cried out that I wasn't going out like this. I asked God to free me from this disease, and I chose life. Family and friends continued to rally around me, being as supportive as one could imagine. Daily, I received calls and cards from my sisters and co-workers. When I was hungry, the doorbell was always ringing, and there would someone just on the other side of it bearing food. When my spirits were at their lowest, I would receive prayers in form of letters and emails from friends and strangers. When my yard needed attending, the young boy from down the street whom I had mentored would cut it. When I looked like hell, the girls and I would do lunch. and they were always built up. They would always build up my spirits. Lastly, as I endured hours of chemo, Decop was by my side, making sure all was good. It was now September 2007, and none of the drugs was working. The CA 125 wouldn't drop, and finally hopes of a trial drug were offered. I was taken off chemo prior to entering the trial drug program, so I decided a road trip was in order. Since I was deemed terminally ill, then I would go out in style. I began by having 6 liters of fluid drawn off my stomach so I could move around a little better and purchase my dream car, a Jaguar, the XJ8. Bought a road atlas, withdrew $5,000 out the bank, and bought 2 bottles of whiskey and 2 packs of Coke, and headed on our way to points unknown. Of course, Decop wasn't going to let me drive alone, so she became my road dog. We traveled to Oklahoma and experienced their centennial celebration, gambled on the penny slots, and floated through Bricktown. Next, we traveled throughout the Texas Hill Country, ate rattlesnakes chili, and listened to very bad country music. She said that because I listen to country music. There we rented a small shack of a cabin for a week and enjoyed all of LBJ's country had to offer. Decop was a bit afraid when I said that we were going to live in a shack for a week out on the prairie. This poor girl had never experienced scenery without street lights or heard the call of a wow in the night. It, each morning, I would make my way out to the porch with a cup of coffee and watch the wildlife begin their day. The peace was overwhelming. I would meditate and pray each day until a calm overtook me. One morning, I decided that if God allowed me to make it through this, then I would build a cabin and offer it to people afflicted with cancer or those who just needed that calm. What did you say, dude? Went all Thelma and Louise. Yeah, we was Thelma and Louise. We ended our road trip by cruising up Highway 281, returning to Dallas. Since being off treatment, I found myself stronger with an increased appetite. Man, I love bacon. I began a simple exercise program in which I would walk from my corner to the end of the block. I know that doesn't sound like much, but for someone who couldn't walk from the bedroom to the front door in under 20 minutes, it was considered remarkable. While on my walk late one evening, I was contacted by a representative from Baylor's Research Center, where the drug program was being performed. The young man began by asking me how I had been feeling. My response was absolutely great. He then stated, "That's good. Now, Miss B, I have to tell you that you are no longer a candidate for the trial drug program." My heart sank, and the strength in my legs gave away. It was all I could do to grab hold of a mailbox to steady myself. He went He went on to say that my cancer had stabilized with no indication of new growth. My response was, "Okay, what's next?" He said quite pleasantly that I would be hearing from my doctor soon. Within minutes, Dr. Matthews called, and I was still clenching the mailbox. She immediately asked me what I what I'd been doing. My response was praying. Again, she asked what exactly I had been doing. Again, I responded with praying. Needless to say, I was in her office shortly after the conversation. I again entered chemotherapy, and this drug had an effect on the cancer. Every Monday, I went for treatment and continued on with my week. I began to make plans no longer from day to day, but now week to week. See, Nikki, eating rattlesnakes in Chile and listening to country music driving along the countryside of Texas. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. Okay. From October 2007 until September 2008, my CA 125 continuously declined. I returned I returned to work at the amazement of family, co-workers, and doctor with a mission on my mind. That promise I had made to God was weighing on me with an indescribable sense of urgency to step into action. The ugly couch cabin. I began searching for property within a 100-mile radius of Dallas, armed only with a premonition conveyed to me. I began searching in East Texas for cabins. Within 1 week, I had found and made an offer on a funky little cabin with a nasty wooden couch placed on its front porch. Um, that's why it was called the ugly couch cabin, because of that little ugly couch. The realtor and ex used car saleswoman was more than happy to assist me. We met at the cabin and spoke for hours. This would be her first sale. While we were in conversation, she noticed the small teal ribbon on the collar of my blouse and asked what type of cancer it represented. My reply was ovarian. She then asked if I were a survivor. I stated yes. She went on to tell me about her experience with breast cancer and spiritually how she had changed. We prayed at the entrance of the cabin that I would be successful in purchasing it and that we would both be completely healed by God. The transaction to purchase the cabin went well until the day of the home inspection. I decided that it would be in my best interest to be on hand for the inspection, and so did my realtor. Um, we met at the cabin and chatted for a while when we noticed another car pulling into the drive. We both expected it to be the home inspector, but it turned out to be the homeowner. These notifications get on my nerves. Okay. Pulling into drive. We expected it to be the inspector, but it turned out to be the homeowner. We exchanged greetings. Then I noticed the pink ribbon on her bumper. I asked if she were a survivor, and her response was yes. We all looked at one another and began to exchange words. By the end of the afternoon, we had laughed, cried, and broken bread. I told her that the cabin was intended for rehabilitation and would be offered free to cancer patients. She then told me that she had initially purchased the cabin to have a place to die from cancer. We closed on the property in mid-August 2008, and from that date until December 2008, I have worked endlessly on refurbishing it. It wasn't until I drove by a lonely billboard located west of Canton, Texas, on Highway 20 that stated, Jesus said, it is finished, that I knew that my mission was complete. My CA 125 is on the rise once again, and I've been placed on another waiting list for a new trial drug program. I've made the decision to retire from the job I love so much and have decided to make the most of my remaining time. I have come to realize several things. God has a sense of humor. You will get out of life what you put into it. We all have a mission in life. Our lives are to be enjoyed and never stop believing in miracles. So if you ever traveling down, get this last sentence. Get this last sentence out of here. So if you're ever traveling down Highway 20 and are in need of a quiet place to rest, just look for the Ugly Couch Cabin. It's the one with the big silver gates. B. So that is a big story. Mhm. Um, while I'm looking for the story, anybody have any questions? Any questions? Any comments? Yeah, I love you too, Mickey. Thank you, Percat. So every time hey, hello, Lena. Find something to drink here. It's been what, about 2 years since I read that story. The first time I read it, I broke down too. I, I never know that when I read the story that it'll get to me. It does. Any anybody have any questions? I'm gonna look for another short story. You know, anybody? Okay, let's see. And maybe it it get to me because B was a amazing person, um, wonderful woman. It was a wonderful to me. Usually, usually I had a picture of the ugly couch cabin. But I guess it must have come out the book. But well, but I'm say um, I never knew she had skills like she did have because even with stage 4 ovarian cancer. She built. We had a log cabin. It was a log cabin. Thank you, Cassandra. And she built by herself a deck onto the cabin. She redid the front. See, I lost my sister of cancer. Yeah, yeah, Percat. I guess that's it. It never gets easy, and even to talk about or read the story. Uh, is the cabin still open? No, actually, see, a couple of years after she passed away, um, I sold it. Um, if it hadn't been so far away from it, it took about an hour and a half to 2 hours to to get to it, and I just couldn't go back and forth in the upkeep of both houses. You know, um, I ended up selling. I didn't want to because, uh, man, if y'all see that work, I'm going to show y'all some. I'm going to find some pictures that I'm going to show you the work she did, the work she put in that cabin. Um, I was surprised. I knew she had a lot of tools. And one day I was like, "What are you doing with all these tools?" She was like, "I use them." I said, "Use them for what?" I mean, I can imagine, a woman with what you call I don't know what you call the thing, the skill saw. She had every tool. She had so many tools, and we would spend the weekend down there, and I couldn't believe she built a deck on the side of the cabin. She redid the front. She built. Um, we had a little cabin in the back. She did all that. She put the we got the empty building, tin building. She insulated. She built. She put the shower in, the sink. She built the cabinets. Unbelievable. I'm gonna show y'all a few pictures one day. Unbelievable, and I really hated it because it was beautiful. It was a 2-story. It was unbelievable, but she was skilled. Um, and I asked her how did she learn how to do all of that, and she said watching her grandfather. So and that was funny. But I guess it don't when I read the stories. Yeah, she was she was. Uh, I guess when I read the story, what gets me, I guess I think. Good night, Percat. Have a good one. Thank you. Amazing story. Her determination to finish what she started. She definitely did. I missed it, but cancer is my life every day. Yep. I dedicated my life to an oncology career for 10 years at now. Yeah, yeah. Amazing. Um, Losing that hour, kicking my butt. Okay, I understand. I appreciate you even being here. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I think because I told the story of when she died in my arms. Um, I think that's what does that gets me, and then just hearing her story because I know how she talk and she's hilarious when she probably shouldn't be. She make jokes and she say hilarious stuff, but she don't mean for it to be funny, but it is just funny because she's funny. Hello, D. Compliments. God bless you with someone to make you smile. Probably every time you see each other. Yeah, yeah, she did. We had a life. Um, yeah, and she made sure I was okay. Um, that was all she was worried about is that I'd be okay when she left, and which I am. But she looked at me as if, well, she was older than I was, but I think like 7 years, if I'm, yeah, about 7 years. But that's all she talked about. Telling sister, telling my father, take care of her. She thought I couldn't do anything. And I just, had to tell her, I'm a big girl. Oh, I can't. I can. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. And I think I told the story of her when her spirit left her body. Um, yeah, it was during um, Thanksgiving, and her family came down. All of them came down. Um, I guess maybe they felt that it was getting close to the time or whatever. But she was perfectly fine. She was walking, talking, eating everything. On her made you a stronger woman. Yes, she did. Because a whole lot of the stuff um, I knew nothing about. I was sheltered. And they always say you learn something from everybody, whether it's, big or small. You learn something from everybody that whether they're your partner, your wife, your husband, your friends, or whatever. You learn something, and I learned a hell of a lot. Um, but they had been here for Thanksgiving, and they left like a couple of days after Thanksgiving. And um, but before they uh, left, we had put her in the shower to give her a shower. And once she was ready to get out the shower, she stood up, and I came and got on one side, and her sister got on the other side and grabbed her arm and was helping out the shower. But then all of a sudden, she did this, and her head went back, and her eyes rolled in her head, and I, I screamed. I screamed, started crying, because I thought she just died like that, just like that, getting out the shower. Um, but I learned after, because my father told me that she, her spirit, her spirit had left her body, and when she did that, and after that, after her spirit left her body, we had to pick her up, put her in the wheelchair, and roll her back to the room. And from that day on, she never spoke. She'd never eaten, never drank. I had to force, you know, put water in her mouth because try to make sure, she stay alive, because she wouldn't eat. She couldn't go to the bathroom, any of that. I changed her, I cleaned her, even though, we had a nurse that come. Um, but when the nurse, did her time and she's gone, I did everything else. But she never spoke a word, none of that. And it was about probably 3 or 4 days after that, after all her family had left, this older woman that I used to walk with had told me, she said, you need to get ready. And now I didn't want to hear that, but she said, and she was telling me about this other woman, and about something they call the Death Rattle. And I was in the living room. I slept in the chair so I could hear her if something happened or she needed something. And I heard this noise, and it was like 6 in the morning. And I jumped up out that chair, and I ran in there, and I could hear that death rattle. And I was like, oh my God. And the lady, she had told me, if you look at the bottom of their foot, the feet, there's that you'll see a black mark on the bottom of her foot. It was there. And she told me that's when you know it's getting close. And the death rattle also, she told me, if you hear that, she don't have too much longer. I never forget the sound of the very first of many death rattles. Yeah, it sounded weird. But if that lady had not told me, I may have I may would have ran out of my own house and kept going. But she had told me, and I had already always told B, I don't think I could. I don't think I can deal with. I don't think I can help it. You're passing, and because she wasn't in the hospital, she was at home. I went in the room, and I think it was probably like hours, and then all of a sudden that death rattle. It wasn't so loud, or either it had stopped, but she looked like really, weak, weak, weak. So I just, I crawled in the bed with her. And I remember that lady also told me that you have to let them know that it's okay for them to go, because most people, of the people that it's dying, try to stay. And they not stand for themselves; they're stand for you. And if you don't tell them it's okay for you to go, they'll keep trying to hang on. So when after that death rattle and seeing that she was so weak, we leaving until 6 in the morning. Yeah, using money. After that, and I crawled in the bed with her, and I said, "Are you leaving me?" Can describe the feet again. Is that a sign of death too? Yes. Uh, she said it'd be a black mark on the bottom of her feet, and it was there because I looked. I mean, it was there, and so I asked her, was she leaving me, and she, because she didn't talk anymore, um, she just shook her head just a little bit, and a tear rolled down her face, and I said, "It's okay." I said, "Go ahead, go." Yeah, I say, "Go ahead and go. Just let go and let God take you on." And the tears just rolled down her eyes, and I I grabbed the Bible and I read Psalms. I sit there and I read Psalms, laying in the bed, holding her, and she went, she just she died, and I I got up, and then that I always said that I don't think I could handle, being here, being in the house, being where she passed. But I guess because I had prayed, and she probably had prayed for me too, that I didn't leave her in here. I won't do that. But I was just scared. I didn't. But when it was time for her to go and she passed, I wasn't scared. I was calm, too calm, because I just closed her eyes. First, I just laid a towel over her face, and then I just closed the eyes. And I don't know, there was this calmness over me, a calmness I never had. I didn't cry. I didn't cry at all. And it was so calm. I was so calm that I went in the kitchen, and ran some dishwater, and I started washing dishes. And then the nurse came. It was her time to come and change, bathe her and change her the sheets and stuff like that. Fifi. Um, and she came in. She went in the room, and I opened the door, let her in, and I know she was gone. But I don't know. I don't know why I didn't tell her. I went back in the kitchen and started washing dishes. And I heard her talking, trying to talk to me. She's like, "How you doing, Miss B? All right, I'm finna get you cleaned up." And I'm just washing dishes, wiping up the sink. And then I see her come around the corner, and she said, um, "I'm sorry to have to tell you, but I think she's gone." And it didn't surprise me because I already knew. I don't know why I didn't tell her. And I said, "Yeah, I know." And she said, "Well, I'm gonna have to call the hospice people, um, and a nurse is gonna have to come out and declare her gone." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I know." And so just calm. After I finished washing dishes, I went in the living room. I sat down and I just sat there. And they was going to, when the nurse came and went in to check her, check her to make sure she were gone. At first, he said that her heart rate was just like so low that he could barely hear. So I guess she wasn't all the way gone, but within a few minutes she was gone. Um, and he said, "Well, you want some time, before we call the um, funeral home?" And I said, "Don't call them yet." And then I got on the phone and I called her oldest sister that lives in San Antonio. And she jumped on the plane just like that. And so the nurse, she left. She said, "I'm sorry." And, I said, "No problem." And she said, "Well, I'll call the funeral home." I said, "No, not yet." I don't know what it was, but I didn't want them to take her body. I I just wanted it to stay in the room. I mean, not forever, but I don't know what it was, but I just didn't want them to take her body. And I think it probably was because then I would know that she was really gone. But long as I could walk down the hall and go in the room and see her, I guess maybe I would be all right. But eventually, she was there for a while because the older lady that was my friend that we walked together, um, she came over. Her and another friend came over, and you know they kissed her and said, "You're in a better place." And then they stayed a little while and then asked me if I was okay, and I said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay." And they left, and then her sister made it. Her older sister made it, and she came in and she broke down, and she got in the bed with her and stuff like that. And then eventually, um, I said, "Go ahead and call the funeral home," and they came and got her. And yeah, so yeah, let me read. So that's probably another thing that gets me when I read her story. It was like, let's see. Oh, That career must be rewarding and painful. Hello, Lena. Yep, yep. Two beautiful souls, your soulmate. Yep, she was my soulmate. She was my soulmate. The love of my life. Hmm. Knowing her made you a stronger woman. That's right. I'll never forget the sound of that very first Death Rattle. It is, you won't mistaken it for nothing else. That's for sure. Brings a whole new meaning to we ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. Use the money. Can describe the feet. Yeah, that. Yep, that's the sign of it. Absolutely. And I have to tell a lot of family members. It's selfish to keep telling someone to fight. Yep, yep. Let them know it's okay to go and you will be okay. Yeah. And that's what I tell. Just go. Just let go. Then, go on with God. I'm gonna be okay. I'm a big girl. Um, even though she didn't look at me as a big girl. I don't know because she treated me like a baby, like a princess or something. But yeah, that's all she was worried about was me. How was I gonna do this and how was I gonna do that? And yeah, that dark. Let's see, that dark mark comes from the heart. It's too weak to pump the blood to the Lord. Extremeness. Oh, okay. I I didn't I didn't know that. All I knew, and the older lady that told me, we're not in the medical field, but she didn't know either. She just knew that it would be a dark mark on the bottom of your feet, and I seen that. Yeah. Okay. Fluid, most likely, and patients too weak to cough up mucus. Yeah, the death rattle. I did read about that. That's what that is. The death rattle is that mucus. That's tough. Yeah. What they call death rattle. Yeah, yeah. Correct, Fifi. Hello, Lena. I did not know that about the feet. Learning so much. Yeah, yes. You caught Mickey asked to describe the feet again. Oh, I think he probably got it by now. I'm late on the comments. Hospice is my niche. I love to care for a hospice patient. I think because I lost my parents at such a young age and was exposed to death, it does not frighten me. I am happy to have that gift. Well, that's good because I definitely, while she was alive, we would be talking and she would keep telling me, Decop, you have to get a hold to yourself and just realize that I'm not gonna live forever. And I didn't want to hear it. I no, I don't want to hear. I don't hear. She's like, I'm not going to be here all forever. I'm. It's just a fact. I'm gonna die, and I couldn't take model is what they call. It's called. Oh, the death rattle is called model. Halloween. So it's called model and the death rattle. Or today, I'll respond. Yeah, yeah. So that was my story. Let me find. Here's a short one. I do want to know that. Hello, Lena. Fifi, you said it's called model, modeled. The death rattle or the dark a spot under your feet. No, model is what happens to the skin from slow heart function. Okay, okay. Have you listened to Patti LaBelle? True Love Never Dies? No, I don't think I have. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look for that. And it definitely doesn't. And it's been she passed away in 2014, December. Yep. How can we buy the books? You know, they don't they don't sell them, but I'm gonna try and see if they have any left. By now, they probably have new um, cancer survivors, and hopefully they've written new books because everybody write their own story. I was only one who couldn't be afraid of death. Yeah, because I was afraid of it. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to think that I would be here um, alone with her, and she passed away. I thought I wouldn't be able to take it. I always said that I probably lose my mind, and like I said, I just kept praying for strength because I know I didn't have the strength. Um, and I just every day I just say, praying for strength that I have the strength that I could deal with it. And man, I got that. I'm just being so calm to the point I'm washing dishes and knowing that she passed away. So I asked for it, I guess. I asked for the strength and I got it. Unaware of the foot. Okay, yeah. That older lady told me that. And I'm really glad she gave me those tips because I wouldn't have known. Yeah, I really wouldn't have. I wouldn't have known because I had never heard of the death rattle until she told me that. Here's another short story from this little old lady. She was 80. She was 80 years old, if I'm not mistaken, or close to 80. And she had. We would go to the they call them the meetings, the ovarian cancer meetings. We would go. They have it. I think it's on Fridays or Mondays, one of them. And we would go and sit in and listen to all these women's stories of, how long they've lived with ovarian cancer and how many times they've been in remission and how old. I mean, just different ages. I think the oldest lady, I think she was either 80 or close to 80. And she had been, I think she had it for over 20 years. Another lady had it over 20 years, but they go back and forth in remission, out of remission, it's unbelievable, sit there and listen to their stories. But this okay, this story is called "Laughter is Good Medicine," and this is the lady, the older lady. She likes to tell jokes and tell different stories to make people laugh and forget about what's going on with their cancer. And it's called "Laughter is Good Medicine." A 90-year-old woman went to church every time the doors opened, and she was always smiling. Let's see, a 90-year-old woman went to church every time the doors opened, and she was always smiling. Okay, well, the pastor told her he wanted to be exactly like her when he got to be her age. She said, just please don't wear a dress. An elderly lady sent an old family Bible to her brother in another part of the country. The post office clerk asked if there was anything breakable in there, and she said only the Ten Commandments. Here's what one member of our group did. She took a 1 inch block of wood, laid it on the floor, and walked around it twice. Then, when her friends would call and ask what she was doing, she'd say, "Oh, I just walked around the block twice." Okay. She was known for this, for jokes. And a cancer patient had 3 hairs on her head. She put them in a braid and had a very great day. Then there was then there were 2 hairs, so she parted them down the middle and had a very great day. When there was only 1 hair, she put it in a ponytail and had a very great day. One morning she woke up and there was no hair, so she said, "Oh boy, now I don't have to fool with my hair." And she had a very great day. Attitude is everything. And that was her story. Well, it wasn't a story, but you know, she says laughter is good medicine. Uh, oh, I can still see that little lady, a little black lady. Oh boy, she was funny. Let's see. I've been lucky until recently. Lately, old friends have been dropping right and left. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, not from ovarian cancer though. But my sister died uh, 4/7/1990. I was fortunate to be able to take off to care for her. Oh, sorry to hear that. Okay, cancer is ugly. Let's see. She was blessed to have you, Fifi. Yep, it was definitely. Unfortunately, I've had, I've have her addiction issues. Unfortunately, I've had her addiction issues. Okay. Cute story, Decop. Yeah, that was name was Louise. After is great medicine. Yes, it is. Because can you imagine? And I think that's why she always had a joke. They always give her the floor and tell that one joke every time we had a meeting. I don't know how she come up with so many jokes, but she did. She was something else. She was something else. Let me see. Nobody have any questions? I had taken. I'm looking. I had taken some notes. I guess I'll. No questions. No questions. Okay, this one is another little short one for y'all. Um, this is one out of this first book. Let's see. Some advances have been made in the treatment of it. Yes. Yeah, but now I'm wondering now because, like I said, she passed away in 2014. I wonder how is ovarian cancer, the treatments and the being able to because being able to diagnose these women before they at stage 4. I wish she would have been able to hang in there you know for like nowadays because it's probably more treatments Yeah. Okay. This story is called A Silver Lining. And there may be some medical terms in here that I cannot pronounce, so forgive me. Um, okay. This one says, Today I am 40 years old. I, her name is, what is her name? It's Christina. Today I am 40 years old. I have been married to a remarkable man for 15 years. I have two beautiful daughters, 29 and 25. Since I was fortunate to marry a man with girls, my youngest daughter made me a grandmother at 35. My grandson is now 5 years old. He is my inspiration. I see myself as an adventurous professional woman, having worked in management for JCPenney for the last 25 years. My family and I moved 10 times with the JCPenney company. So I would say we all enjoy adventures. I was born and raised in California and currently have my home in Texas. I have a wonderful family and one sister. I enjoy my family and the time we spend together. I walk, we run, walk, yoga, ski, and enjoy movies and reading. I was 38 years old when diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Young. Cancer does not run in my family. I had simple signs of bloating, gas, restless nights, but this all seemed normal for my schedule. I did think I was pregnant. My husband and I were not practicing birth control, but all tests were negative. I began seeing the doctor about my symptoms in June 2004. As my symptoms had started Memorial Day weekend. June was filled with routine exams and tests like blood work, EKG, stress tests, and x rays, all of which were normal. Meanwhile, I could explain all my symptoms, but my friends thought I was run down. Great new treatment now. Is okay. Well, that's good. That is excellent. I was busy with work, and my husband kept me on to see a doctor. My doctor felt I had high blood pressure, which was borderline. This gave me relief as I thought the doctor finally knew what was wrong with me. I started taking medication for high blood pressure in late July. I appeared to get some I appeared to get some relief. Sometimes the symptoms of discomfort and bloating would last only one day, returning to normal the next. After 2 weeks on medication, I began to gain weight. I called the doctor and was weighed. The comment from the doctor was, This is strange and not normal. However, my blood pressure had returned to normal. I was instructed to stop taking the medication. Meanwhile, I had a trip to California. It took everything I had to continue this trip, as the symptoms had returned. When I got back, I called the doctor right away. I was told there was nothing they could do for me, but they recommended that I go see a I'm gonna say a gastro doctor. Okay. Um, I was very frustrated and made an appointment, which was 3 weeks out. On Friday, I was to have my yearly visit with my OB doctor that I almost canceled due to bloating and discomfort. When I arrived to my appointment with my OB, I began to explain what I was going through for 3 months. She appeared to be frustrated that I was on all this medication. Once she examined me, she had difficulty finding my right ovary. She wanted me to stop all medications, including vitamins, and come back on Monday for an ultrasound. On Monday, September the 14th, an ultrasound was completed and to wait for the doctor. Once my doctor arrived, she asked for my husband's number. She called my husband and began to tell us her findings once he arrived. My OB already made my appointment with the oncologist for Wednesday the 16th. On Wednesday the 16th, we met with my hero, my gynecologist, gynecologist, oncologist gave us great hope. I was examined with my husband in the room and blood was drawn. We went home to wait for results. We were called. The doctors can be dismissive, causing delays in treatment. Absolutely. That's what happened to be. Um, we went home for the results. We were called later that day, which started a whirlwind of things. My CA 125 was 2973. Um, I had written down what your CA 125 should be, the number that it should be. Last time I read this story, do anybody remember Love Blake, Cassandra, Nadia? If you still in the bushes, I can't remember, but it's a low number. 2973 is extremely high. I thought I had written it down somewhere, um, but I guess I know it's in somebody's story, so I'll look for it one day and try to find it. But okay, they were called. She said her CA 125. I don't remember the okay. Yeah, I don't either. My CA 125 was 2,973 cancer. If it's that high, it's cancer. I can't remember that number, but it's a low number. By Friday, September the 18th, I was no longer able to walk. The fluid in my stomach made me look like I was 7 months pregnant. I was miserable. My daughter took me to the emergency room to get prepped for surgery. It was scheduled for Monday the 20th. I did not make it through testing, so I was admitted to the hospital. Is 35? I know it was a low number. Yeah. Okay. So bench thing to say it's 35. So as you can see, hers was 2,973. That's why I said ... cancer. Um, let's see. They said I did not make it through testing, so I was admitted to the hospital. I was given relief for one day when the fluid was drained out of my stomach. After surgery, I was in my own room and my doctor entered. He said, if there is a silver lining to cancer, I was just given it. I had 3 tumors, one the size of a loaf of bread, one the size of a grapefruit, and the third was the size of a volleyball. Wow. These tumors were self contained on my right ovary. At this time, he explained what was to follow: standard chemo and blood work. He also suggested I look into the opportunity of going to MD Anderson for a bone marrow transplant. And Dr. Anderson is in Houston, Texas. Um, I replied, road trip? Today, I am still astonished at my enthusiasm for the adventure. I did make it to MD Anderson for the transplant. I feel very lucky to have participated in it. Today, I am in remission, which did not come easy. I am truly blessed to be on this adventure and to have come this far. This story is Christina's. So, yeah, 30, 35. Yeah, less 35 or less is what your CA25 should be. If it's more than that, and if definitely if it's 2000 or something, um, at one time Bees was, uh, if you listen to the story, she didn't tell you what the number was, but she said it was off the chain, which it was high, high, and that's why I say the CA125. It will tell you if you have cancer or not, ovarian cancer. And for breast cancer, it's the BRAC1. That's for breast cancer. And the BRAC2 is if you have the gene for breast cancer. So, yeah, the notes can be dismissed. Yeah, they a lot of the stories and stories that I've heard from being in the meetings, they say that they've went to the doctor and told them their symptoms, how they was feeling, what was going on, and like they did would be told us she had acid reflux and indigestion, and end up because she wasn't diagnosed soon enough, she ended up having stage 4 ovarian cancer, which the tumor attached itself to her liver and to her gallbladder. I think they cut off some of her gallbladder and her liver. I can't remember if they tried to cut some of that out. And also, she had a twisted intestine, and she had to go to surgery for that. Uh, they thought it was they thought it was torn, and that's why she had to go to surgery. Once they got in, they realized that it wasn't torn, it was just twisted. And so once she got out of the hospital for that, after they untwisted it, she was much better. But yeah, she went through hell. We went to the farmers market one morning, just strolling, just enjoying life. And this Hispanic guy walked up to it and said, "Mamacita," and then he basically was pointing at her stomach, saying she was having a child. And she was 50 something years old, and he thought she was pregnant. That was hilarious. We talked about that forever, but we went on. We did the Thelma and Louise thing, and we just drove. Got that Jaguar, and we just went. Had no plans on which way we would go. She would just say, "Which way we're gonna go? No, north, south, east, or west." And whichever one I chose, that's where we went. We had some drinks, um, rented some cabins. And that shack that she rented for us, the shack she was talking about. When we went down that little dirt road, went and went and went, and then she said, "Look at that little shack." I said, "Yeah," because it was leaning. I mean, it was leaning back. And so she said, "Oh, that's where we're gonna spend the week." I said, "No, we're not." She said, "Oh, yes, it is. It is." And she always want to prank. And I was like, "No." I said, "No, I'm not staying there." She was like, "What you telling me? You're not gonna stay there?" "Yeah, I already paid for it." I said, "I'm not staying in that shack." And she burst out laughing. She was like, well, okay, you got to look at it first. And I was like, I ain't got to look at that. That thing was leaning to the side. The roof was like this. And we pulled in there. She opened the gate. She had a combination to the gate, and you had to drive all the way up in there. And I was mad. I said I was gonna sleep in the car. If she wouldn't leave, I'm sleeping in the car. I'm not sleeping in that shack. So she's like, here the key. Just go on. You like it. And I was mad. So I get the key. I opened up the door, and it was nice inside. Really nice. Even though it was ugly on the outside and leaning to the side, it was nice. So yeah. But I was pissed at her before I seen the inside. Yeah. And when it's dark out there, it's pit dark. There's no kind of light. None. You can't even see right in front of you. On the inside, like when it's time to go to bed, you turn the lights off and it's pit dark. I slept with my gun. She was like, "You're not getting in bed with me with that gun?" I was like, "Yes, I am." I kept hearing noises, but I didn't know that it was a cow making that noise. And then his cow kept coming to the little shack and bumping up against the shack, the cabin, and that scared the hell out of me. I jumped straight up and turned the lights on. I just knew somebody was breaking in, and that's why she say I wasn't used to the wild, But yeah, she was something else. She was something else. Oh, one thing I did want to say after or before I read the story. So many good memories. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she, um, what I wanted to say before I started her story, or either after, for anybody that heard this person say that I killed my wife. No, I didn't kill wife, and everybody know that. But ovarian cancer is what killed my wife, not me. So I wanted to throw that out because there's so many new people that may be in the bushes. They may see the video later, or they probably heard her say in her chat that I killed my wife. So no, I did not. Ovarian cancer did. So yeah. Anybody have anything to say? Yes. So please, if you have any of those symptoms or some of those symptoms, just make sure you go and get checked out. It's nothing to play with because I can't tell you they didn't suffer a whole lot, like not like a lot of people that we knew, not like a lot of those women that was in the meetings. Um, but she did go through some surgeries, um, and it's nothing to play with. It's scary. You don't know, when you're gonna go. So definitely go to the doctor if you have, I'm not saying because most of those symptoms is symptoms that you can get from other things. And so it's kind of hard to know if you have it or not. The only thing is going to distinguish whether you have it or not is to go and get that CA 125. If your doctor is not wanting to give you that test, you continue to be persistent and getting that test done. That's the only thing that's going to save. Um, didn't I just go black? Um, to say that where you can say I had stage 1 ovarian cancer, or I had stage 2, or stage 2A, because they do the stages are like that. You definitely don't want to have stage 4 because your doctor wouldn't didn't diagnose you in time to save your life. You see me? Did it? Because it went black. Why is it? Why is it black? Well, I don't know why. Unless it's just my internet. Cassandra, I should appreciate it. My appointment was today. Oh, really? Are you okay? Yeah, I said when I came on, I said I don't know why I decided to read today, to read stories today, because I had been uh, working out. I did my walk, my 10 miles, and I was tired. Started cleaning inside of my car, and I was tired. But something just said, "Read today." Yeah, it said, "Get my books." I went and dug my books out, and I said, I'm gonna read tonight." I know my people that my regular people, um, Love Bacon, Cassandra, and Nadia um, have been here the last time I read. But the last time I read, I had how many people? Two, well, how many was it? Love Lake, like three people, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been more than that. That they either dropped down or they left a comment and said, one person said, she said, "My mother was just diagnosed today with ovarian cancer." And, I tried to talk to her, but it was too new for her. It was too new and too fresh for her. And she broke down. So, um, but I do want to, if you see this to that person, um, I hope your mother is doing well and still in remission. And I hope that you would drop in sometimes and let me know how she's doing. And I've had other people that have said, you know, you read this story, and I was going through. I was going through that, or I had to go to the doctor, or I'm going to make an appointment to go and get checked because I have some of those symptoms. So I don't know what it was, but I'm something made me read today. So I hope y'all enjoyed the stories. And yeah, Mickey and somebody else had asked about the book. Like I said, I may not have finished my thought, but they're not for sale. But I'm going to see if I can get some more of these books, whether they have I'll try to see if they have the book that have B's story in it, and see if they got any new ones, and see if they'll let me get some. Because we got a box, a great big box full of them, and we passed them out to women, different women, just anybody, and we see somebody on the street, a woman, we give her that book, give her a book. And these are the two that I had left. I may have to check with my sisters and them, because some people, some women, they were afraid to read the unknown. My sisters were some of the women that they didn't want to read about it. They didn't want to read the stories, and they're heartbreaking. But a lot of women get scared, whether it's because they may. Sometimes you can start thinking that you have these symptoms. I read off these symptoms, and you may sit there and say, "Oh, I've been having pain in my stomach. Mm, I've been bloated." That psyche. But you just got to get checked. You have to. But I will try to get some of those books. I'm gonna call and see if I can get some, and I will. If I'm able to, and they still have some, I will get y'all some and send them to you. Yep. Oh, let me see. Bench thinker. She appreciated it. My appointment was today. Wish you the best. More tests. I have been ill. Saw a new doctor today, and she didn't like my symptoms. Okay. Yeah, I'm praying for you. Definitely praying for you. Mm. I know it's hard to have to wait and get results and tests. You know, I'm just praying for you. Thank you, decop information all women and male partners need to be aware of. Definitely, even males need to, because if you got a wife and she's going through that, it it ain't no you got to deal with, the woman got to deal with. No, that's both of y'all. Both of y'all. That's a long journey. A long journey. You never know. I know B never cried. She never cried, never dropped a tear um, in front of me. But I do believe she probably cried because she was angry too, because like in the book she said she jumped from a burning plane. Um, um, she was knifed. She was robbed. Um, Something else. But y'all remember me reading. And she couldn't understand. She went through all of that, being robbed, jumped from a burning plane, got out of a burning house, and all that. And look what took me out: cancer. Yeah. And she was angry because B was a strong woman, strong will, strong mind, uh, just strong. And she couldn't understand. She was, oh yeah, shot. She was shot at. Yeah. Y'all remember? I can't remember some of this stuff, but yeah, she was just she was strong, and she couldn't understand, and did 2 tours of in Quake, um, and look what took me out. She 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 was pissed. She said, if anything should have got me, you know, that bullet, being shot at, or being robbed, being knifed, all that. Kuwait. Yeah. Yeah. So, yep. right. Well, I appreciate it. Let's see. She sounds so very independent. Oh, she was. She was definitely. I told you, having um stage 4 cancer, and she was out there building on that cabin. Um, I mean, building that the little cabin in the back of the big cabin. Um, it was crazy to have been, with stage 4 cancer. She wasn't gonna let it take her out. She wasn't gonna go early. Yeah, yeah, she was something else. Yeah. So yeah, bench thinker, definitely gonna be praying for you, praying for the best, that it could be anything else other than that. And I'm glad I decided to read tonight. I didn't have a clue why that I was led to read tonight, but I did. And yeah, you. I'm gonna say you come back and tell us the good news, because no bad news, good news that you're okay. Yeah. So I do appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that came by. Well, let's see if this live becomes commentary with the wicked ones. Oh, yeah, probably will. It'll probably say I killed her. I did kill her. I killed my wife. You will, bitch. Okay, definitely, bitch thinker. Um, we always, even like the last time that I read, the first time that I read, in the woman that had some of the symptoms and made appointments, and you know they did. They always came back and said, I'm okay. It wasn't that. I did have some of those symptoms, or I had all of them. Um, but yeah, because did you see Kimmy get mad at Brianna? No, I didn't see it. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. I am surprised because they was friends, huh? Friends, friends. Um, I have anybody talked to B? Anybody talked to B Town or seen her? I I've been meaning to but I was talk to her. They're not friends anymore. Oh my goodness. Oh well, with the B sector, that's how they are. Friends one day, and next week they enemies. You haven't? Yeah, I got to call her and see how she's doing. I know I've seen her in some lives, but uh, I know she had a biopsy. I think it was. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to call her when I get off. Hopefully she's not asleep. Um, so I can check on her and see if she's doing okay. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna hold y'all. Let y'all go and do what y'all have to do. Ben Sneaker, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Praying for you. We all will pray for you. Definitely let us know how you doing, how everything went. We pray over here. We pray. Mickey, thank you. I love you. You take care of yourself. Love Blake, thank you. Cassandra, thank you. Who else did I miss? I don't want to miss anybody. I don't know. TC, if you see this video, your 2 long sleeve t-shirts that you want, I don't think you completely read the email, but the sangria t-shirt, they don't have any sangria. So you can let me know if you want to choose another color or you just want the gold. Do email me and let me know what you want to do about it. Mickey, did you get my email, Mickey? I mean my text message. I needed you to text me your address. I have it somewhere on a piece of paper, but where that piece of paper is, I don't know. And it was quicker just to ask you to text me your address. And like I said, anybody else that is interested in a hoodie, long sleeve t-shirt, short sleeve t-shirt, or I have the T-back shirts for women. Let me know. I know it's getting cold. If it's not already cold where y'all at, and them hoodies is gonna come in handy. Most of my people in here already have one, so they can tell you. Them suckers are warm, and they're not made cheap. They're good quality hoodies. The t-shirts also, all of them. So let me know. You can just email me. As I would say, the my email is strolling at the bottom of the screen, or the email address is on my page. If you're interested in any of my merchandise, I will appreciate the support if you do. And most of my people have they got the hoodies, the t-shirts, they got it all. So other than that, I'm gonna let y'all out of here, and I appreciate y'all coming. Appreciate it. I forgot Miss Philadelphia. Thank you, Miss Philadelphia, for coming. You might be gone, but I appreciate you stopping by. Who else? Fifi. Thank you, Fifi, for coming. Glad to see you always. Easy Money. Lena. Always, always. I know you got to get up early for work, so you might have done fell asleep. Uh, who else? I don't want to miss anybody. I have to make sure I get every. Oh, diving. You probably gone, but I appreciate you coming by. Appreciate your support, Nadia and Perkat. Thank y'all for coming by. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support as always. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. I want to get everybody. And for Vabe was here. Thank you. I appreciate you as always. She's always here. Well, she's in the bushes or drop down. Easy Money. Oh, Easy Money. You asked for a large black hoodie. He may not be here still. I don't know. But if you happen to see this video again, I think that's what you asked for, a large black hoodie with the full emblem on it. Well, you get my email address and email me. I don't know if where you want it sent to. If you're still out in the boondocks, you may not have an address, so I'll just hold it until you get an address. And let's see, who was that? Oh, CCN TV. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know you probably gone, but I'd say it anyway. Like to show appreciation for people coming. And I think Diamond Dory shared my video, And thank you, Diamond. I appreciate you. Appreciate it very much. Uh, it was somebody I need to ask about their hoodie. Mickey, did you ask for a large or extra large short sleeve T-shirt? Text me along with the address because I think you told me large. And make sure I got everybody. I did say Miss Philadelphia, yeah. And Vibrant Law, thank you for coming by. You probably gone too, but I appreciate you being here. And as usual, you watch my workout videos. Thank you. Um, RNTV, thank you. I appreciate you coming by, and whether you stayed a little while or stayed the whole time, I still appreciate it. Thank you very much for your support. And I think that's it. So I've done my roll call. Thank you. So thank y'all. I will see y'all next video. I did say Nadia. Yeah, I said Nadia. Can't leave nobody out.